Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How you guys doing? Fantastic. I'm Jennifer Bagley, CEO of CEO Web Group, and I have my colleagues with me, Michael Hicklin, Chief Operating Officer, and Clay, who's account executive for this territory in the back. Wave, you're on candid camera. You guys, what do you refer to yourself as?
Men.
That you should do that. That's smart. What about in relation to your business? What do you refer yourself as? How many of you are the owners? Do we have any entrepreneurs in the room? How many of you are the owners? Do we have any entrepreneurs in the room? Okay, so you get my question. At some point, you sat down with your spouse and you said, you know what? I can do this better. I'm going to quit my day job, on my insurance, my benefits, and I'm going to start a business. Become an entrepreneur. Yes? Yeah? Why'd you do it? What do you want more of? 3 things.
Success.
Money. What was the next one? Got success. What else? Time. What's the final one? Everyone wants more.
Life.
Freedom. All entrepreneurs start their businesses for the same 3 reasons. They want more time, more money, and more freedom. Does anyone disagree? Does it feel like you have it?
No.
We can be honest in here. It's a fair room. I'm an entrepreneur too. You guys, starting a business, it's not easy. Running a business, it's not easy. Growing a business, it's not easy. If anybody came to you in the beginning and said, you know what, it's a piece of cake, you got this, they were not your friend. They were not being honest. So if you know something isn't easy and you choose to do it anyway, should you go in with a smile? That's what I was taught. I was taught it's going to be hard. In fact, you're going to rake up your credit cards. You possibly will go broke at different times. You're going to have different phases in the business where you get stuck at different stages, trying to get over the next hump, hiring before you have the budget to hire, in hopes that it will help you grow. All of this is related to being an entrepreneur, but it starts with how do we market and run the sales and marketing and the operations of our business. Everything we're going to talk about today, it's interoperable, interdependent. Everything is tied together. There is no silos in running a business. There can't be decisions that work independently because everything impacts everything else, whether we know it or we're consciously looking at it or not. Question. When you need something, what do? Google it. Raise your hand if you Google it and look around. Everyone look around. They need these numbers. These are real stats compared to advertising company stuff on paper. When you Google it, how many of you click on the ads at the very top? Look around. I would assume the 2 that raised their hand are investing in pay-per-click. I know. You guys charging your client or your competitors $45 a pop. How many of you click on the maps as a consumer? Raise your hands, keep them up, and look around. How many of you click in the top 10 on the organic results below the map, first page of Google? Raise your hands, look around. If you find a website on page 1 of Google, how many of you go glance at the site? Raise your hand and look around. If the site is bad or indifferent, or you can't tell what they serve or who they are or where they do it or how to reach them, how many of you keep looking? Raise your hand and look around. If their website looks professional, you can tell who they are, what they do, where they do it, how to reach them, and what other people think about them. What do you go look for next? You find a business or a product, what do you look for next? Reviews. How many would go look for reviews before they decided to make a purchase or a call? Raise your hand and look around. If the reviews were bad or indifferent, how many of you would keep looking? Okay. How many of you, if you received a referral to a company from your mother, a friend, a family member, or a trusted advisor, would Google the company and look at reviews before you place the call? Raise your hand and look around. Before you place the call. Here's the best part about marketing. It's simple today. It's simple. Every room, every audience I speak to, and I speak to about 100,000 people a quarter between webinars and live events. Spend 9 months on the road talking to real people. I would literally rather listen to a group of soccer moms tell me how they buy than an advertising agency any day. My background is not marketing and advertising. I am an entrepreneur. I happen to own a marketing and advertising company. However, I'm a realist. Logical choices, pragmatic thinker. That means the data from a real audience like you guys telling me how you buy, how you think, how you shop, what you do, the order in which you do it, that's what matters to me. Somehow when we start our companies, we start looking at all of these other kinds of advertising when as a consumer we don't pay attention to that at all. Advertising, old school. Marketing, current. There's a difference between them. There's a difference also as an entrepreneur in how you invest your money when it comes to growing the business. An investment into something that's going to grow your business is either a permanent, long-term investment that produces compounding results. That means the dollar that I spend today actually produces more and more year over year over year. Or it's a temporary burn and churn of cash where we get on our knees and we hope and we pray that it's going to turn into more than we spent. You guys give me an example of something that's temporary, where you're burning and churning in cash, and when you run out of money or you stop spending, you have nothing. What's an example? Radio. What else? Gambling. What? We're not at the Poconos. I did that event earlier this year. What else? Temporary, burning and churning cash. You have nothing when you're done spending or run out of cash. TV, what else? Newspaper, what else? Billboard, good. What else? Direct mail, what else? How about online? What's online? The same thing. Pay-per-click, absolutely. What else? Facebook, absolutely. Fantastic. Okay. Give me an example of something that is a long-term permanent investment in your business, contributing to more time, money, and freedom, that has compounding results over time. What was the first one? Website. Within the website we have reviews, I'll take it. Links. What else? Content. Absolutely. Content is as critical. It's your voice. It's how you speak online. What else is permanent?
Call to action. Things you fill out forms.
Yes, absolutely. Building your database, your list, collecting information, newsletters, polls, quizzes, assessments. Yes, absolutely. Call to actions. Anything else? What's in the back of that room right there? Very back corner? Video camera. Wave. Why am I recording this session? What did you say, to show my hair? It is nice. It's not bad like Texas. Learn from it, okay? What else? For marketing purposes. Why? It's permanent. It's permanent. I can slice and dice this video, which I will, into 20 different 5-minute segments, 7-minute segments. I can upload them to YouTube. I can label them. I can Give them a name, optimize them. I can add them to my website, add them to my social media sites, and over time, videos do what? They get views. Those views grow over time, right? As an entrepreneur, we have to think about ourselves as investors, which means if I want to invest, I want to put my money into something that's going to be permanent, something that's going to grow over time, something that where my dollar today is going to work more for me years from now. With the video, what happens over the years? What happens with those views?
They get views.
They grow, right? They grow. An hour of my time can turn into a cash machine, 25 cash machines that work for me year over year over year over year over year. I don't wonder where my business is coming from because I have the ability to clone myself. And you do too. Have you ever woke up and said, there was just more of me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what the great part is today? There can be. There can be. You guys are probably the best salespeople in your company, the most subject matter experts there are. You have the greatest tribal knowledge of anyone in your business. Would you agree? Digitize it. Don't be shy. If you go outside, you can get on camera, you look the same, sound the same, talk the same. Digitize it. Imagine cloning yourself and there being many of you that are out there answering those questions while you're doing something else, like taking a 3-week vacation in the middle of summer. I always get a psycho laugh on that. Always one. Is it fair to say you should make it a goal to take a 3-week vacation in the middle of summer?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, that's a good milestone. If you make that your goal, you're going to think differently, act differently, make different decisions. You're going to do things different in your business. It's the ultimate. If you can leave your business during the busiest time and it functions and it runs, and there's so many of you out there that they're never at a loss for an answer because you're still there, even if you're in Tahiti with an umbrella in your drink. That has to be the goal of an entrepreneur. We can't lose sight of why we started these companies. That being said, this process, how people are searching, it is changing a little bit because of these little new technology devices. What do you talk to do a search today? Siri, absolutely. What else? Alexa, I love her. What else? Google Home. Our smart home's a big deal right now. Yeah, they're pretty normal. And it's not the young people doing it. Okay, a query when somebody talks to a device and they say, hey, Google, find me the best air conditioning repair company in, what's the name am I in? Durham, North Carolina. I've been in like 19 states in the last 5 days. Okay, in Durham, North Carolina, with the best reviews. That's a long query. Google Home, Alexa, and Siri also, unless it's on your computer on a Mac, also are not necessarily pulling up websites on search results. They're using something called local directories, local listings, and it's based on who has the most reviews. If somebody's typing on their computer or typing into their phone, that's a search that's pulling up organic results, those 10 slots you talked about. If they're talking to a device, that's pulling up a local business listing. Bottom line is, if we don't make what we want to sell, where we want to sell it, an option, where people are looking, and look good when they get there, we're not here to play the game at all. Because everyone answered the same way in this room. They all shop the same way, and it doesn't matter. I'll tell you, 5 years ago, I went to Dubuque, Iowa, did this same thing. I asked the first question, and everybody said, mail or pack. I was like, oh, God. The whole room did, because they weren't using the internet yet in Iowa. Very little. That made me nervous. But year over year over year, even in the smallest cities, the room doesn't change. Right now, I'm looking at 1% of the entire audience that says they click on an ad or don't Google something when they need it. And those who say they get a referral, I'm at 95, 96, 97% of those people are saying, even if I get a referral from a friend who works in the industry, I still go Google the company and look at their reviews. To me, that's logic. That's pragmatic. That also gives me clarity. You guys write this down. It will help. Without clarity, and you can just write the word clarity, you cannot focus. Without focus, you cannot execute. Without execution, you cannot win. The 4 words are clarity, focus, execution, win. When we make decisions without clarity, we're not making great decisions. If we don't focus on the right things in the right order at the right time, we will burn cash. We will be disappointed with our results. If we don't execute as entrepreneurs with the hustle and fast and furious with everything we have, we will work for a very long time. We will not win. Winning is getting what you ultimately desired your life would look like at a certain stage. That is more time, more money, more freedom. That is the ability to leave during summer and take that vacation. So, for me, that provides clarity. That makes it easy to make decisions. In today's environment, content is everything. Everything else doesn't work without it. It's your ability to speak. You guys seen Bruce Almighty? The movie? Okay. So you remember when he's in the warehouse and he's standing next to his file drawer and God says, everything you've ever said, everything you've ever done, everything you've ever thought is in this drawer. And the drawer flew across the entire warehouse. You remember? Okay, that file cabinet is Google. All it is a giant filing system with a whole bunch of pieces of paper in it. Lots of different drawers, lots of different file folders, lots of different pieces of paper. All you have to do is get a piece of paper in the drawer for the things you want to sell in the cities you want to sell them. Have them look good. Get them to the front of the drawer. Show that other people love them. And you have a cash machine. The things you want to sell are simple. Okay? Your basics: AC repair, AC installation, AC service, AC maintenance, AC tune-up, AC inspection, AC replacement, air conditioner service, air conditioner replacement, air conditioner repair, air conditioner maintenance, air conditioner tune-up, keep going. What are your consumers? What do you guys call heaters here? Furnace? Furnace? Okay. If you're from California or Oregon or Washington, do they say the word furnace? They call it a heater. Furnace is something in Freddy Krueger's basement, large scary movies. They don't say the word furnace. So if they moved here from across the states, that's not a good word. So it's important that you have pieces of paper in the drawer for what consumers look for, not what you guys know as tribal experts, subject matter experts. I love it when we get in little debates and I'll have a dealer say, air conditioning, service, and maintenance are the same thing. Not if a consumer searches for something different, because Google's filing those as different pieces of paper. Anything you want to sell can be put in the format of text on a page, made popular, moved to the front of Google, which is where people look, in an organic listing, and you have a new cash machine. It is permanent. It lasts forever. The longer it's out there, the more it grows, and the more cash machines you have, and the closer you will be to retirement, or whatever your goals are. Make sense? Fantastic. All right, let's get out of this PowerPoint and go look at some work. I'm going to show you a couple things and then tell you a little bit about what's coming right now. I can take any site, you guys can too. You get rid of the W's and the HTTPS, and you put in the word site : and what it's going to do is it's going to pull up what is in Google's file drawer for that website. So for this website, there are 97 pages in the drawer. For this website, there are 481 pages in the drawer. About 90% of our business is now HVAC. You guys have kind of hoarded our company's resources. And we're able to see, not just in HVAC, but in all the other industries we've worked in for many years, there is a direct correlation between annual sales and number of pages in this drawer. I can tell you from benchmarking years over years over years that if a company has less than 25 pages on their website, I'm not talking about commercial, that's a different beast, okay? For residential, if a company has less than 25 pages on their website, they're probably doing less than $500,000 in gross sales per year. If they have less than 100 pages on their website, they may be hitting $1 million to $1.5 million. If they have 400 pages on their website, they're sitting pretty somewhere between 20 and 40 million on annual sales. If they have 1,000 pages on their website, they're over the 50 million mark. It's just math, which makes it easy. They happen to be an option for more services and variations of services and key phrases that consumers are searching for than their competitors. Now, it doesn't mean lock yourself in a closet and write 7,000 pages of content. That's not going to work either because that's hustling Google, and Google doesn't like to be hustled. So it has to be growth over time, progress. What do you notice about this listing and the pages, how they showcase? Let me make them a little bigger. Oh, that's not fair. That's somebody that has it too. What do you notice about the listing I just showed you versus this listing? This one versus this one. Yes. Okay. That is called schematic markup or structured data or schema, without turning into too big of a nerd. This is one of the most important elements of a website today. In fact, I don't want to scare everybody, but every few years, Google comes out with a new requirement that is a game changer, a world changer. Do you guys remember getting notices when Google made it mandatory to go mobile responsive? Do you remember? Okay. And you had to get a new website. Okay, this new change that launched, technically they started testing in November of 2017. They rolled out their first batch of re-ranking websites in February of 18, and they are now taking this show on the road across the United States. Google has a new requirement that is significant, as big as changing to mobile responsive websites, which meant you need to get a new website. How long do you guys think technology lasts, websites last today? 7 to 10 minutes. There are some that stay in production so long that it's outdated by the time they launch because they're trying to get to perfection. That's unfortunate. Okay, you're looking at about 18 to 24 months maximum that any piece of technology can last in this environment. Sometimes it's less than that because you may have just went live with a new website 3 months ago. Google makes this huge change. It becomes a recommendation. Then they roll it out in batches, and then they say it's a requirement. This is one of those days. This is one of those times. The new requirement it's for Google. It's an initiative, and it's called Mobile First. It's huge. It could literally reshape the layout of the internet when it gets rolled out. If you have a web company, if you have someone that's working on your marketing, if you're paying for SEO, they should be talking your ear off about this right now. It is such a huge change that your major content management systems, like WordPress being the largest, WordPress started a year ago preparing for this change, as did we. We started building a new platform that would work in this new environment. A new theme that goes on WordPress specifically for HVAC to be prepared for this, and it's taken us a year to build it. We're ready to launch. However, every website we've ever built, we have to have redone. in order to work in this environment. So a lot of times what happens is companies will choose to work with a company that's local because they can wring their neck, they're down the street. The challenge with that mindset, and you want to be careful about that, is if they're local, that's fine, but make sure they do business global, because Google doesn't test local. Google tests in Montreal, in Toronto, in Sacramento, in the Bay Area. Sometimes it'll launch a test in the middle of Concord, California. We have clients that stretch the entire United States and abroad, and we need that because someone's going to take a tail whooping first. You don't always get announcements when something's going to change. Sometimes you get hints, and you got to really study. We tend to plant our developers inside projects as volunteers so that we know the inside scoop of what's coming. WordPress is launching anybody have a WordPress website? Do you know? You might have one and don't know. Okay. That's going to be important to know. So WordPress is so far ahead of the pack that it's actually launching an updated version of their website that will require a new website. Without being too detailed, there are millions of themes and plugins and things that work with WordPress, and when WordPress does an upgrade, those themes no longer function with that major upgrade. And this is a major update, and the update is in response to this. Okay, this change, there are two ways to look at this when Google makes a change. I'd like you to meet my father and my son. The roller coaster's scary regardless. Both people are on the roller coaster going down the same ride. My dad chose to smile. My son freaked out. Okay? Here's the way I look at massive changes when Google has a huge algorithm change. I'm smiling. Huge. Because these moments in time are when you have an opportunity. Maybe you weren't doing the best digitally. Maybe you're not ranking on page 1 of Google for thousands of phrases. And now's when you have an opportunity to snag a seat from someone who's been sitting on their laurels, their web company's not telling them about these major changes. They're not taking action quick enough. And when Google re-ranks their site, if yours is selling the same services in the same cities, optimized with better content, and you've got the best reviews, you can take their spot regardless of size. Major changes like this level the playing field. They give you the opportunity as a small business to jump in, and the guy that's been there for 20 years and has the majority of the business in the area, you can snag it. It's actually really exciting. Okay? One of the elements of this change is schematic markup or structured data. Structured data is what allows us to showcase these reviews on this website in a search engine. So when someone is doing a search, let's see what we got. I'm going to shrink this down. So this one is heat pump installation in Noblesville, Indiana. There's 274,000 pages in the drawer. You have the ads at the top. We have our client's Google business listing showcased over to the side because he actually has a physical address in Noblesville, Indiana, so you can make that happen. I'll explain how. And then he's sitting on page 1 of Google in position 2 and 3, right next to Home Advisor, which is a huge site with millions of pages. What listing is a consumer going to click on? Your thoughts? Subconsciously, what are they going to click?
First one.
First one, okay. Any other thoughts?
One with the picture.
One with the picture. The highest converting is going to be the one with the stars because it stands off the page and consumers are drawn to that. What you'll notice now, a year ago when we launched Schema, we launched it for a lot of our clients. There was no one out there with those stars rating below unless it was a major company, unless it was a Yelp or a Home Advisor or a Better Business Bureau. They didn't exist. Now you're starting to see small businesses start popping in. Their websites are being redone. Schematic markup is part of it. But the bottom line is consumers are naturally drawn to what contains the stars over what doesn't. It happens in their subconscious, so they're not even thinking about it. They just do it. Thanks to what company? What company is embedded reviews as being important in everybody's heads right now? Any thoughts? Amazon, where they live, love, play, eat, shop, get groceries. Amazon has done that. Okay, your Angie's List, your Home Advisors, all of those things, those are another search engine. There's actually not a wild group of people that uses those. Most people don't go to a search engine, do a search, and then go to another search engine to go look again. Most people don't. Now, if you're talking to Angie's List or Home Advisor, they're going to tell you something different. So will Yelp. Okay? But logically, most people don't do that. If they have the answers in front of them, they don't keep drilling and drilling and drilling. All right. So, first and foremost, when it comes to building a website, in today's environment, I'm just going to pull one of them up. Things that are critical. With Google's requirements, this right here, HTTPS, that means the website's secure. If your website is not secure, if it doesn't say HTTPS, there's actually a little exclamation point here, and it says beware, do not fill out any forms on this website. And it's about 90% of HVAC company sites that are not secure. Google's actually saying don't put in a lead form on this site, but we just roll through our day in and day out with them. From a search engine standpoint, Google wants your site to be secure. However, you can call 100 SEO companies that will happily take your money for SEO, even if you have no content, even if your website's built on old code, even if it's not secure, you'll be paying and you'll hate SEO companies because it didn't work. They have to say no, but most web companies don't report to anybody but you. That's a hard deal. That means you need to know more than them to be able to properly evaluate them and keep them in check. In our world, we report to East Coast Meadows. We report to Goodman and Amana and Daikin. We report our numbers, our growth, our stats. We're measured on, do our dealers working with us, do they grow? Is it working? Those are things that we're accountable for. So we have more of well, I would say I got it from my mother, and none of them make much difference because it's in my core. However, you want to be careful because managing an SEO company, a web company, or even separating them. If you have a web person, anybody ever bought a website from like Bob, a guy? I see a smirk. Okay, I'll take it. Hey, Bob can't build you a website. It is not possible. Triple F's can't build you a website. Friends, family, fools, felons, free, fast. Does not work. Building a website in today's environment, you got to have a designer. They're creative. They have friends. Their house looks nice. They dress nice. You got to have a developer. Their garage and the actual physical living space. They work heavy at nights. If they say they're hanging out with friends, there's no cars in the driveway. Okay, they're different people. You got to, you know what I mean? What are you doing? Hanging out with friends? Well, there's no one here, dude. It's online. You got to have an engineer. Engineers do not care about your personal opinion at all. They're not going to guess. Why? They're doing research. They're looking at the math. The math tells a story. Personal opinions don't matter. They keep everybody else in check who's talking about whether they like shag carpets or regular carpets or pink or fuchsia or flamingo. Make it pop. Don't care. I know what works, and I know what works because my math tells me so. Okay? You got to have a project manager to keep them all in check. You got to have an analyst, an entrepreneur, someone that understands business strategy. They got to know some information before they even make a recommendation to you. No one should make a recommendation on what you should do until they've done their homework. They need to know, where are you? Where would you like to go? And what are you working with? And if they don't know those things, they should not give you input. Nothing I'm telling you right now is for you to immediately go do, because we would have to go do our homework to figure out, where are you? Where do you want to go? What are you working with? I got to know where you're sitting. How big is your database? How long have you been in business? Are you trying to give the kid business to your kids and sail off into the sunset? Are you trying to sell it for, increase the valuation and sell it for a mint? Trying to retire? Trying to acquire other companies smaller than you? We got to know where you want to go, because you can't give somebody an address and help them get there unless you know where they are. Are they driving? Are they walking? Are they riding a bicycle, a skateboard? And where'd they start from? Okay, so they got to do some homework. One of the things we'll offer all of you is a complimentary digital evaluation. It's a group of analysts, so they're not talking about how pretty your website is. They are nerds. And they will evaluate everything for you. Okay, your digital presence, your brand, your reviews, your website, how long it's been online, any issues, major, we call them exits. We need to eliminate exits, things that will prevent somebody from moving forward with you. And you should have this kind of a review done a minimum of once a year. I will tell you this, there is not a website or a company, even if we are the one that did the work, that I cannot rip to shreds. There is not a website that I cannot rip to shreds, even if we did it. Why? A, it's always changing. B, it's never perfect. C, you're never done. It's a lifestyle. It's not a project. It's a mode of thought, of logic. The best entrepreneurs are great marketers. I'll leave that at that. So, yes, sir.
How many pages, this particular website, how many pages is this?
497. Okay. So they didn't start with that. They've obviously grown into it over time. When you get to a website, when a consumer lands here, they need to know who you are, what you do, where you do it, how to reach you, and what do other people think about you. That needs to not be a question or something that they need to hunt for by any means. Show another one. Who we are, what we do, where we do it, how to reach you, 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 how to reach you. Read reviews, what do other people think about you? Okay, these are the pages in the filing drawer. This is a much smaller company. They have 97 pages. When we got them, they had around 20, and I can tell you from total gross sales number, they've grown. Their sales have grown to match the pages because they have more and more pages sitting inside the file drawer. Okay. We've taken companies that started with 10 pages that now have 200 and have increased their business over 200% in a 12-month period. All right. Now, here's the thing. This is when companies will often sit and they will say, I don't want to grow. We're busy and I don't have the staff to handle it. Okay. Staffing can be an issue itself. We know this well. We learned this the hard way because when we first started working with HVAC, when we first got signed on as a preferred digital marketing agency, we didn't think about hiring. We were too busy learning the fact that you guys run 4 different businesses because of the seasons, and weather actually changes everything, which is crazy. I had to take back what I used to say on stage to other industries because you are different. I used to say it was all the same. It didn't matter. You are different. But we did marketing, and all of a sudden we had our first call in our first year working with HVAC, and somebody called and said, Jen, turn it off. I was, What do you mean turn it off? I can't turn it off. This is all organic. He was like, we don't have the staff. We can't do it. We can't even answer calls, and we just got our first bad review because we didn't answer the phone call. We didn't have the staff. Okay, slow down. Take it back. Now we don't have a website that doesn't say we're hiring. Also, we've done full studies beginning to end of the supply chain in your business. Here's how it works. If you don't have enough leads, you tend to have low prices because every sale matters. When you have low prices, you pay low amounts. When you pay low amounts, your people leave. It's all interconnected. The higher volume of leads, the bigger opportunities you have, the more particular you can be about how you price things. You can sell higher efficiency equipment. You can sell at a better rate. You can pay your employees better. And when you really learn how this works, you can use the same strategy you do for acquiring new customers, answering consumer questions, for recruiting. Our guys take applications, resumes, 24/7, 365. They take them constantly because they always need to be building a database full of highly qualified or trainable or coachable or young, whatever your strategy is, guys that are ready to go to work. Not wait until you need to hire and then say, oh, we're living in fire mode then instead of living in maintenance mode. My coach always said, if I can just get you to do the things you already know you should, you consider me a genius. Which means living in maintenance mode. When we don't take care of those things that need maintained, we live in emergency mode. When we're in emergency mode, we have this statement that prevents us from success called, I'm busy. I'm busy is like a rocking chair, always busy, moving, never going anywhere. For the mere fact that we say we're too busy to do something, it probably means we need to stop and do that. Just that. So, being able to compete with large sites like Indeed and Jobs.com and so forth and go after, this is not their only page related to hiring and recruiting. They have HVAC careers, HVAC installer jobs in blank, HVAC technician jobs in blank. So they have a whole bunch of different pages that are all geared towards that. Make sense? Yeah? All right. How do you think people find jobs today? Which means they do what? They Google it. The same philosophy works. It's because it's how we all work, right? Just need to have the content. The content needs to be popular, accompanied by great reviews, and boom, you're an option. Okay? All right, now, when it comes to a website, these guys are much further than the other ones. So when we first start a project, we take a huge inventory of what do you want to sell? And they're just checklists, so you don't have to start from scratch, and you check everything. What do you want to sell? What do you want to sell? And it goes through this huge list. Let me give you a, Clay, can I convince you to plug in my computer while I do this? It's in here. So check out this list. This is just an example when it comes down to what are people looking for, how are they searching, and you start looking at the amount of combinations. You're awesome. The amount of combinations that can be used. These can individually be pages, or we can mix a handful of them on one page, and it can be ranked, page one of Google, and once it's there, you have a new cash machine. These are the basics. We're not including things like when consumers are looking by brand, by product, by model number. Is anybody doing e-commerce yet? Selling products straight out? Nope, okay. So that's an option as well. Also, depending on where you live, if you're in Seattle, Washington, we have our guys optimizing for houseboat air conditioning installation, houseboat heating installation. If they're in Arizona, then we have them doing wine or distillery okay, air conditioner installation. If they're in California, it may be wine cellar air conditioner installation, wine cellar. So if you're in a big medical facility or there's a lot of offices, it may be medical office air conditioning installation. So it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Anything you want to sell, you can be found for. It just needs to be an option in your store. And when I say content, what I mean is it's a product in your store, even if it's a service. If I walk into a retail store and I want to buy shoes and there's none on the rack, I can't find them, right? It's the same thing digitally. If you want to sell it and you don't have the content for it, you can't play that game. Sometimes I'll have guys that'll come in and they'll say, I'm working with this SEO company and they suck. Not on page one of Google for anything. And I'll say, well, what phrases are you paying for? I don't know, but I don't show up for blank, blank, blank. Guy said it the other day to Clay. I don't show up for ductless air conditioner systems. He doesn't have 1 ounce of content on his website for ductless air conditioner systems. That's not possible. Can't rank for that. There's nothing in the store to rank. Google's not going to guess. It's a robot, not a human. All right, so I forgot about this. This is the 12-step roadmap. You guys have this. Okay, this is a guide, a strategic guide to help you plan for growth. It is designed to help you do the right things in the right order at the right time. Okay, wrenches sometimes will get thrown in, like the Gutenberg WordPress update or mobile first initiative by Google. However, if the infrastructure is in place, it's easier to take on those wrenches. Step number 1, it's your website. That is first and foremost the most important. That is your retail store. It's you on the internet. And it can literally be you on the internet. All these videos, they're all over my website. When my support team gets a ticket and somebody asks a question, they go grab a session of video with a little explanation, and they send it and send it and send it and send it and send it. We've answered all these questions. So what does that do to our business from an operational standpoint? Makes us more what? More efficient, right? Everyone always says, how do you guys do so much? I'm very careful with my minutes. Very careful with my minutes. I like freedom. We take 5 vacations a year. That's important to me. All right, so website, first and foremost. Even within your website, these are 12 steps, 12 stages. You're not going to get through all 12 stages. That has to grow over time, which means your website should be a living being. It should continually evolve. Step 2, content. What do you want to sell? Where do you want to sell it? Products you want to sell? What consumer questions are they asking? Are they searching by brand? Are they looking for Amana air conditioner installation, Goodman air conditioner installation, new Goodman system installation? Are they looking for Goodman system installation or system discounts? Goodman system installation or Goodman system rebates? Are they looking for high efficiency heating and air conditioning tax credits because it's April? Welcome to the month. Okay. There are hundreds, there's millions of different phrases you can get found for, and you can own and occupy the market. Content. Number 2, this is not a project, it is lifestyle. If you decide you want to speak, it should go on the internet. It should be digitized. Okay? Without it, we're not talking online. Number 3, CRM online scheduling. Here's the deal with that. Consumers don't have time to mess around. Most consumers have no interest in spending $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $14,000 on a silver metal box. It's not a fun process for them. They're not excited about buying a new heat pump. Woo-hoo! Hawaii heat pump. Hawaii heat pump. Okay? So don't make it hard. When do you, as a consumer, get to take care of your personal business? What time during the day? Your personal household stuff, your wifey to-do list. You can't. I have a different class for that, darling. When do you get to take care of your personal stuff at home? Forget about your business. After hours. How many of you have a Google business listing and a website that says you close at 5? Okay? Some of these things, they're exits, and with the smallest change, you immediately can make a difference. That's a big one. It's not logical to close at 5. For something that consumers have to do, they don't want to do, it's already a pain. It's mixed in with the task list of 90 other things, including soccer practice and Costco and everything else. Right? These are families. They're busy. This is just a thing on a list that has to get tackled. So having an online scheduling system, critical. Making it easy so consumers can book a sales appointment with you, a 15-minute conversation, 24/7, 365. Whether you're open or not, I'm not saying you have to provide emergency service. I am saying that if a company somebody comes to your website, when they finally get to their to-do list, they wake up because their ping pong balls are going off in their head at 2 in the morning, and they go to your website, I want them to be able to schedule a 15-minute meeting with you to talk to you tomorrow on their lunch break at noon. You know why? Because they can check it off their list and go back to sleep. There's no reason we shouldn't be allowing consumers to set an appointment instead of make them remember to call us on their lunch break when things get hectic at work. That's not fair. All right. In addition to that, your QuickBooks account is not a database. Later on, when we get to step number 9, email and text marketing, I don't want you to wish you would have done step number 3. You can't take a break and leverage your database and start focusing on your existing database and your existing customers if you haven't been capturing their email addresses and their phone numbers. We need that in a database. Anybody that's ever came to your website, if they've asked for a quote, an estimate, asked for information, if they were a home buyer and the inspector said, hey, you got an inspection on this house for the air conditioner before you clear to close, you got to have that data. Maybe that house fell through and they're going to find another one in the next 6 months. Very, very important data. Next, local listings. Here's the deal with local listings. This is like telling my kids to clean their room. You have to do this. There are 70 local directories: City Search, Yellow Pages, White Pages, Chamber of Commerce sites, tons of Bing, Yahoo, all of these different sites. These are the major directories that Google uses to authenticate your company. They are also where consumers that were born on the wrong side of the bed can leave bad reviews, and you need to know if one happens. They are also where competitors can snag your listing using your company brand name, your address, and their phone number. And they can happily answer your calls month over month over month, and you'll never know. And it happens all the time. All the time. For this particular case, now a lot of times people will say, oh, I already am subscribed to Reach Local. I'm subscribed to something. They're doing this. We go do the work. No, they're not. All they did was change your address and your phone number. They're not doing updates. They're not posting new content. They're not doing anything that's going to make the listing actually grow and make you more money. What we want, I want you to take your local directory listings. I want to increase your visibility, and I want it to make your phone ring. For this particular account, we've done 121 updates in the last 13 months for this particular account. What does that do? It takes you from 0 to hero. You can independently generate new leads and opportunities from properly managing your Google business listing and your local listings accounts, regardless of your website. So while you're working on a new website, do this. It takes a while to get it to rank. You got to have new content being published on a regular basis, and when you do, this will independently make you money. That's local listings. If you try and go set them up on your own, it's a pain. If you guys have time or money, you got to figure out how much of the things on your plate can only you do, and everything else, work on getting it off your plate as soon as possible. Next, reviews. We're almost out of time, so I will tell you this. There are multiple strategies for reviews. I just did a webinar on this yesterday. If you submit those little cards to us, we will get you that webinar, and I explicitly go through the difference in review strategies. Okay, third-party review strategies, reviews on Google Business Listing, and owned asset reviews, which means reviews that go directly on your website for schematic coding. It's a great video. It explains it all inside and out. That'll help, but I think we don't have to stick on why reviews are important too long, right? Social media, you got to be there. Do I think you need to dump a ton of money into this? If you haven't perfected everything up here, no. You got to have a Keep You Alive program. A couple $100 a month, some graphics that are custom made that post on your behalf, all holidays, stuff like that. Yes, absolutely. Get that off your plate, get that done. That content can be used on your local listings, on your website, promotions, and so forth. So it's good. That's a good thing to have in place, but don't dump a bunch of money into social if you don't have these things worked out. Sometimes it's as important to say no, not right now, as it is to say yes. Technically, we need everything on this list, but not all at the same time. Search engine optimization, step number 7, second page. Now you're making money. Now you have a focused effort. If you don't do step 1 through 6, SEO doesn't work because it's interdependent. If these things don't look good, if you don't do the right things in the right order, you're going to pay money for pay-per-click, send them to a website that's a turnoff. Boom, you lose. You're going to get on page 1 of Google for 100 different key phrases. When they get there, they don't convert, you lose. If they find you online from doing a search on your Google Maps account or your Google Business Listing account, anywhere, if they go check you out and your reviews are horrible, you lose. If your reviews look good, everything looks good, but your website looks bad, you lose. Those are all exits. We have to fix those first. Step 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, not important unless you have the foundations down. When the foundations are in, Game on, we can start talking about the fun stuff. We can start working on video. We can start leveraging your database to create target email, text, marketing messages, leveraging that database to try and get more referrals, more add-on services and everything else, but not before. Make sense? How many of you learned something today? How many of you are going to make it your goal to take a 3-week vacation in the middle of summer? Come on. All right, you guys are fantastic. Clay is in the back. You guys have the opportunity to sign up for a complimentary strategy session with him, review all of those reports. It takes us about 5 hours per report to do those digital evaluations. So make sure we leave with those forms, and we'll get started on it over the next couple of weeks. I greatly appreciate everyone from East Coast Metals for having us out, everyone I've seen at multiple speaking events, and everyone here today. It's great to meet you. Thank you.